Did Vikings have a code of honor? This question takes us into the heart of a civilization that, though often depicted as barbaric and ruthless, lived by a set of rules and values that governed their society. To understand the Viking code of honor, we must first delve into the cultural, social, and religious practices that shaped their world. Honor, or droppa, was a central concept in Viking society, and it influenced nearly every aspect of life. Unlike modern interpretations of honor, which might be associated with personal integrity or moral righteousness, Viking honor was deeply tied to reputation, social standing, and the expectations of the community. For the Vikings, honor was not just an individual pursuit but a collective one, where the actions of one family member could reflect on the entire kin group. In the Viking Age, a man's honor was his most prized possession. It was a form of social currency that could be gained, lost, or defended. The preservation of one's honor often dictated behavior, and in many cases, it was more important than life itself. This was a society where reputation could determine one's status, alliances, and even survival. Viking society was heavily clan-based, and loyalty to one's kin was paramount. The bond between family members, especially between father and son or brothers, was considered sacred. Loyalty extended beyond the immediate family to include the broader kin group or ayat, which could encompass distant relatives. This loyalty was not just a personal virtue, but a social obligation that could have significant repercussions. When a member of a family was wronged, it was the duty of the kin to seek redress, often through acts of revenge. This was part of the Viking concept of feud, where conflicts between families could escalate into cycles of violence. However, these feuds were not lawless. They followed a set of rules that were widely understood and respected. The idea of an eye for an eye was deeply ingrained, and failing to avenge a wrong could bring dishonor to the entire family. While the Vikings are often seen as lawless raiders, they actually had a sophisticated legal system that played a crucial role in maintaining order and resolving disputes. The Thing, a public assembly, was central to this system. It was at the Thing that disputes were settled, laws were made, and justice was meted out. Every free man had the right to attend and speak at the Thing, which functioned as both a court and a legislative body. The legal system of the Vikings was based on a combination of oral traditions, customary law, and the rulings of the Thing. Laws were passed down through generations and were often recited from memory by law speakers. The legal process was adversarial, with both parties presenting their case before the assembly. Decisions were made by a consensus of free men, reflecting the communal nature of Viking justice. The concept of weregild, or man price, was a key component of Viking law. Weregild was a form of compensation paid by a wrongdoer to the victim's family to settle a dispute. The amount varied depending on the social status of the victim and the severity of the offense. This system was designed to prevent blood feuds by providing an alternative to violence. Viking society was built on a warrior ethos, where courage in battle was highly esteemed. The warrior code demanded that a man be fearless in the face of death, loyal to his comrades, and relentless in the pursuit of victory. To die in battle was considered the highest honor, granting the warrior entry into Valhalla, Odin's Hall of the Slain, where they would fight and feast until the end of days. This warrior code was not just about physical strength, but also about mental fortitude. A true Viking warrior was expected to control his fear, maintain his composure, and show no mercy to his enemies. The sagas are filled with stories of warriors who faced overwhelming odds with unflinching bravery, often choosing death over dishonor. The concept of berserker gang, or the berserker's fury, exemplifies this warrior code. Berserkers were feared warriors who were said to enter a trance-like state during battle, becoming immune to pain and capable of extraordinary feats of strength. This state of mind was seen as a divine gift from Odin, the god of war, and was both revered and feared within Viking society. The Vikings were renowned for their raiding and exploration, activities that were deeply connected to their code of honor. Raiding was not just about acquiring wealth, but also about proving one's bravery and gaining renown. A successful raid could enhance a man's reputation and elevate his standing within the community. However, raiding also had its rules. While the Vikings were feared for their brutality, they were not indiscriminate in their violence. Raids were often carefully planned, with targets chosen for their wealth and strategic value. The leader of a raid, usually a chieftain or a king, was responsible for the well-being of his men and the success of the mission. Cowardice or failure in battle could lead to a loss of honor, and in some cases, exile or death. Exploration too was seen as an honorable pursuit. The Vikings were among the greatest explorers of their time, venturing as far as North America, the Middle East, and Central Asia. These journeys were dangerous and required immense courage, but the rewards in terms of honor and prestige were significant. Discovering new lands, establishing trade routes, and forging alliances were all ways to enhance one's reputation. The Vikings' code of honor was closely tied to their religious beliefs. The Norse gods, particularly Odin and Thor, embodied the values of courage, loyalty, and honor that were central to Viking society. Odin, the Allfather, was the god of war, wisdom, and death, and was often invoked by warriors before battle. Thor, the god of thunder, was seen as the protector of mankind and a symbol of strength and bravery. The Vikings believed believed that their fate was determined by the Norns, the weavers of destiny, and that honor in life would determine their place in the afterlife. Those who died honorably in battle were promised a place in Valhalla, where they would fight and feast until Ragnarok, the end of the world. This belief in an honorable death as the gateway to eternal glory was a powerful motivator for Viking warriors. Rituals and sacrifices were an integral part of Viking religious practices, often conducted to seek the favor of the gods or to atone for dishonor. These rituals could include animal sacrifices, offerings of weapons, and even human sacrifices in certain cases. The bond between the Vikings and their gods was one of mutual respect, where the gods were seen as active participants in the lives of men. The Viking code of honor is immortalized in the sagas, the epic tales that recount the deeds of heroes, kings, and common folk alike. These stories, passed down through generations, were more than just entertainment. They were a means of preserving the values and traditions of Viking society. The saga served as a guide for how one should live, fight, and die, with honor as the central theme. In the sagas, honor is often depicted as a double-edged sword. Characters who uphold their honor are celebrated, while those who betray it are condemned. The sagas also explore the complexities of honor, showing that it could lead to both great deeds and tragic downfalls. For example, the Icelandic sagas, such as the Saga of Njál, delve into the consequences of feuds and the moral dilemmas faced by those caught in them. The role of the skald, or poet, was crucial in preserving and transmitting these stories. Skalds were revered figures in Viking society, and their poems and songs were a primary means of recording history and praising the deeds of warriors. A skald's words could enhance a man's honor or tarnish his reputation, making them powerful figures in their own right. While Viking society was predominantly patriarchal, women also played a significant role in upholding and preserving the code of honor. Viking women were expected to be loyal, strong, and wise, often acting as the keepers of the family's honor. They managed the household, raised the children, and were responsible for maintaining the family's reputation. In some cases, Viking women could take on roles traditionally reserved for men, such as in times of war or when the male head of the family was absent. The sagas recount tales of women who displayed great courage and wisdom, such as Lagertha, the shield maiden who fought alongside men, or Gudrun, whose cunning and resolve were instrumental in the resolution of a deadly feud. Women also had legal rights in Viking society, including the right to inherit property, seek divorce, and demand compensation for wrongs done to them or their family. This legal autonomy gave Viking women a degree of power and influence that was rare in other contemporary societies. The Viking Age eventually came to an end, and with it, the traditional code of honor began to decline. Several factors contributed to this decline, including the Christianization of Scandinavia, the consolidation of kingdoms, and the increasing influence of European legal and social systems. Christianity, with its emphasis on forgiveness, humility, and the sanctity of life, conflicted with the Viking ideals of vengeance, pride, and the warrior's death. As more Scandinavians converted to Christianity, the old ways were gradually replaced by new religious and ethical norms. The Thing assemblies continued, but the laws became more influenced by Christian principles and the emerging feudal order. Consolidation of power under kings and the formation of nation-states also weakened the clan-based system that had upheld the Viking code of honor. Centralized authority, with its emphasis on law and order, reduced the importance of personal and familial honor in favor of loyalty to the crown and the state. Despite the decline of the traditional Viking code, its legacy can still be seen in modern Scandinavian culture and beyond. The emphasis on honor, loyalty, and courage that defined the Viking Age has left a lasting impact on the societies that emerged from it. In contemporary Scandinavian countries, there is a strong sense of social responsibility, fairness, and respect for the law. Values that can be traced back to the Viking Age continue to be studied and celebrated, providing insights into the mindset and values of the Vikings. Moreover, the romanticized image of the Viking warrior, bound by a code of honor, has found a place in popular culture around the world. From literature and film to video games and television series, the Viking code of honor continues to capture the imagination of people fascinated by this complex and enigmatic civilization. In conclusion, the Vikings did indeed have a code of honor, one that was intricate, multifaceted, and deeply woven into the fabric of their society. This code governed their actions in war, law, family, and religion, shaping a civilization that, while often brutal, was also governed by a strict sense of duty and respect for tradition. Understanding this code provides us with a deeper insight into who the Vikings were, not just as warriors, but as a people who valued honor above all else. If you enjoyed this epic journey, please subscribe to our channel for more thrilling historical tales. Don't miss out on new videos. Hit the notification bell to stay updated.